It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be the host for this absolutely invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I would first like to thank each one of the listeners that are listening to our podcast today. I am just so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you as you listen on the different platforms that this show will be on. So thank you so much. And you are all in for one incredible show today, as I have with me a returning diva, Kathleen Carroll Mason, and her and I are going to chat about love you and lose weight. Oh, wow. What a great topic, especially at this time of the year. So, Kathleen, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Hey, everyone. As Joy said, I'm Kathleen Carroll Mason, and I love helping women to love themselves, step into their power, and lose the diet, as I say, because I have an award-winning book called Lose the Diet. And, let go of the deprivation. And it's really the opposite of what we think. It's about loving ourselves and savoring life to lose weight with ease and joy.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, you said so much in just your introduction. And to have a book to go along with it, I would love to have you share that with our listeners also, that book, so they can follow up from this podcast and then read your book and find more golden nuggets in there yet. So as we begin this chat, I'm just going to turn it over to you because you've already written a book. You know all about helping people with this. So I will just let you start where you would like to on our title, Love You and Lose Weight.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit about my journey. Back in the day when I was in finance and corporate, I was studying mind body wellness, which was getting me out of my left brain and into my right brain, kind of getting me out of my heart and into my head. The other way around, my head and into my heart. Sorry. Got to get that the right way. It's what a teacher said to me when I was in healing art school, get out of your head and into your heart. And that's where the answer lies, with the diets, or I like to say die it with a hyphen, because they certainly aren't very positive. It's very analytical, it's not at the soul level. It's kind of seeking outside of ourselves, and the way things are going in the world is we really need to start looking inward more and healing our heart and creating that balance that only comes from the inside out. And what happened back in the day when I was studying these things and nutrition for weight, and it was stress management and hypnotherapy and life coaching and all these tools. Back then, our biggest clinic, we would have these free clinics, and some were smoking and some were stress and various things. And the weight clinic was the biggest, no pun intended, but we had so many women coming in wanting help, tired of the diets and deprivation and everything. And that's when I wrote the book called Lose the Diet, Transform Your Body by Connecting It with Your Soul. And so I had offices and I did hypnotherapy and coaching around the weight and stuff. And then I went on kind of different paths, different journeys. And at one point, I started making chocolates as sort of a hobby and then selling them. So I became this kind of, hobby chocolatier sort of thing. And then I spent a summer at a farmer's market, and it was 19 consecutive weeks of listening to women say, I would love to have some, but I just can't because I know I'll go crazy and I'll eat too much and I'm on a diet. And the look of fear in the world of healing, we call it like you're either in the void or you're in love, right? It's like and I see diets as this void. It's not serving us. So what I teach is about being in the present moment and savoring the foods we love and creating balance from the inside out. Um, so that's where I'm at now. It kind of pushed me back to where I started because I just felt really bad for all these women who were just depriving themselves and obviously not too happy because they wanted to buy chocolate, but they were saying, no, I better not. No, I better not. So I'm like, hey, if it's quality chocolate, so I get in talking about foods and quality versus quantity, and you can enjoy things that you love, but it's healing the emotions, and it's healing our stress and shifting our habits a bit. So it's going deep, as I was saying. So, what are your thoughts on that, Joyce?
Oh my goodness. I've been taking notes and you said so much. I loved how you said get out of your head and in your heart. That is so true because I mean, that is even the advice I get from my horses. So you
Yeah.
your true self is in your heart, and
Mm.
balance does come from the inside out, and that is just beautiful. And once you can heal those emotions and stress on the inside, I so agree with you because that's where the problem lies. And when we can go into that heart space and start to heal from there, it's magical what starts to happen then. And when you talked about farmers markets, I've done them, and they're awesome. But you meet so many people, and
Hmm.
yes, you learn to know them because they are there. They start to chat with you, and
Hmm.
you do see the desperation sometimes on their faces, like with the chocolates. Oh, they'd love to have some, but they're afraid that one bite is going to lead them into eating a whole box of them or something. So yeah, I can totally. You made so many good comments and so many golden nuggets just in that. So I will just let you continue, but those were some of the golden nuggets I picked up from it.
Yeah. And like I said, just seeing the fear, and it's not the way to live life. And as women, it's not the men, it's we women who have a tendency to not love ourselves enough. We're really busy trying to take care of everybody else, the spouse and the kids and even the animals, because I've worked with people and animals and even doing animal communication work. And the messages that I kept getting from animals was, you need to love yourself more. We worry about everybody else but ourselves. And part of loving ourselves is allowing ourselves to enjoy life. And the thing is, when it comes to, like I say, with my hypnotherapy background, when you understand how the mind works, because the subconscious mind is what drives everything. It's where our habits are, it's where our emotions are. And like I say, diets are very conscious, and that's only like 13% of the mind. And then we've got the other 87%, which is what's causing us to eat emotionally and everything. And when we deprive ourselves, when we tell ourselves, I can't have that, the subconscious mind drives you to want it more because
Mhm.
we can't imagine not doing something. We can only imagine doing something.
Mhm.
And so it ends up backfiring. It kind of what I saw in the chocolate world just reinforced what I already knew because women will deprive themselves, and then the holidays would come and my chocolate sales would skyrocket because it's like, well, now I'm just going to gorge myself and go crazy. And then in January, sales drop to virtually zero because, we're back on the diets again. It's a New Year's resolution time, and it's just this crazy roller coaster ride. I thought, wow, wouldn't it be lovely if people could balance this out and enjoy it throughout the year, in a being in the moment and savoring it and not going crazy, because that's, like I said, it just backfires when when you deprive yourself, I mean, what does that feel like within you? You know, if you close your eyes and imagine, telling yourself, I can't have that. I'm not allowed to have that. And then you want it even more. It creates even more of a craving. And then imagine saying to yourself instead, I can have that. Why not? Why can't I have a piece of that? And just let it go. And then you may end up feeling like, I don't really need to have that after all. You know, the disallowing, like I say, just makes you want it even more.
Mhm.
So when you understand how the mind works and how to work with it, then you realize you're going about it the wrong way.
Oh, oh, definitely. And I loved, and you said it earlier, living in the present moment and being in the moment. And it just all keeps coming back because that's my advice from my horses too. They're always saying, just live in the present moment and savor that moment, like you said, and just make that balance because when you tell yourself, no, you can't have it. Yeah, I've seen that so much. The more you tell yourself, the more you want it. So
Hmm.
if you just come into a balance and like the chocolates are a great example because most people love chocolate. So it's a balance to be able to just have savor that flavor and enjoy it in that present moment. And it is so true about women not loving ourselves enough because we're so busy taking care of everybody else that we forget about ourselves, I think sometimes is how I feel. And it once we start to take care of ourselves, we'll be amazed how much more we can do for others because the service starts with us inside and then it just blossoms from there to be able to help others. So yes, it is you everything you are saying, it is just resonating and I'm just hearing all of it and loving it. So you just continue on how you would like to continue with it because you are giving our readers our listeners so much valuable information to help them on this journey to love themselves and lose weight.
Right. And think about loving yourself and even just meeting your own needs. Are you tired? Because what happens when we're tired? We may reach for excess sugar or something that's, an artificial way to get us moving when we're not looking at the core problem. That is, we need to take a power nap or something else, get to bed a little earlier, or whatever it is we need. So we need to start at our needs. It's getting to the core problem. Think about what's at the center of, if you think about a wheel that has spokes and think about the center of the wheel and what the real problem is at the core. Um, and again, what your own needs are. Another thing to think about is, are you willing to step into your power? A lot of times in our society, we don't see people who are powerful as positive people.
Mhm.
And we might have fear around stepping into our power. I mean, if you imagine yourself feeling slender and beautiful and being, if you will, in that feminine power, sometimes we're afraid of that. I've even worked with women in the past around weight who had maybe experienced some um, sexual abuse or something along those lines, and they don't want to be looking good. They don't want to be in their power. There may be fear around that. So that's something else we look at is really stepping into that feminine power side. And are we afraid of that? Does it seem like a negative thing? Powerful women, sometimes get put down. So we need to be willing to be in that power as well. And of course, it's hard to be powerful if we're not taking care of ourselves.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just, a couple days ago, I thought I really could use a massage. It had been a while. I had one scheduled and it got canceled, and I have to remind myself, and it changed my whole outlook because I had been feeling stressed and um just getting the massage and that self-care and taking that break that we sometimes hate to do because we get on the treadmill. I was writing about this the other day. How well does a treadmill work for weight loss? Well, you might think of a physical treadmill and fitness people might say, it doesn't burn fat that well, but I'm also talking about the metaphorical treadmill of life that we just keep running on until we run out of steam. And again, we're maybe going for those comfort foods. So whether it's, here's three things to think about. Am I stressed and I'm reaching for things that are just a temporary comfort food wise? Am I tired or am I emotional? I mean, those are three big things to think about. If you're tired, how about a nap or whatever it is you need to get some rest? If you're stressed, what's causing the stress and getting to the root cause of it, or getting that massage because maybe you're in a job that's stressful and you can't just quit this minute, but what tools can you use to relieve the stress? And I have found I'm getting into the emotional side now. For example, with grief, that was a time when I was really filling my soul, so to speak, my heart and soul with comfort food and gaining weight. And how can we fill our soul in other ways? Do we need to get out in nature? Do we need the company of friends or family or something else that's going to bring comfort to us? So if you can see what I'm saying about getting down to the root cause and needs that we really need to fulfill, our body can get into balance when we create balance in these other areas.
Oh, oh, that was a great example. I like that treadmill of life and how true stress, tiredness, emotions, how they all can play a part in our life and getting to the root of the problem of them. And that is where I feel it comes going into your heart and finding what will help you to heal yourself that way. Like mine is getting out in nature. That's where I go. Nature and my animals are my healers. They're incredible. Each one is different. Some of them may be sitting down and reading a book or just taking a hot bath. Even I've heard some say it just relaxes me. So there's so many different ways, but you have brought up so many golden nuggets today, Kathleen. This has just been incredible. And this show has gone so quickly, like I knew it would. And before we close, would you please share how they may connect with you and also to get your book, to order your book, that they can keep following up and have all this information in writing, so much of it that you've shared today that they can listen to again and again on the podcast, but also have a book in front of you. So if you could please share this valuable information, I would so appreciate it.
Oh, yes, thank you. And I just want to throw it out there about getting out of our head and into our heart can be so difficult for those of us like myself who are very analytical and we need guidance from someone else. Nature and everything is great, but we still can stay stuck. And in that case, that's where I come in one to one, is really helping you to go deep through the guided meditation and other tools. But they can go to clearlyblissful.com. That's clearlyblissful.com. And on there is, and I'm also Clearly Blissful on Facebook. Um, anyway, there's information on there. There's a page about the book. They can book a clarity call with me to just talk about where they're at and, how to reach their goals. So that's there as well. And I'm also starting a group program in the new year. Thought I'd throw that in.
Oh, fantastic. Now, will that new program and the group to be able to become involved in that? Will that be on your website so our listeners can find that?
Yes.
Oh,
Love you, lose weight. That's our topic.
I love it. So basically, we did kind of a pre-introduction to the program that you have coming up in 2024.
Right. Yep.
Oh, Kathleen, that is so exciting because our listeners that this has just really resonated with them can say, "Oh, now she's got a program. I can go to her website. I can get connected more and more and find that inner help that they are searching for." Oh, Kathleen, this has just been magical. I just thank you so much. And I would love if you would return in 2024 on Robust Lifestyle Show and just give us more updates and more golden nuggets, and maybe even share how the Love You and Lose Weight program is going. And I would just love to have you back on.
Well, thanks, Joyce. It's always great to be here.
Oh, fantastic. And with that, I want to wish you a very magical day and very happy holidays. And we will definitely chat again in 2024.
Happy holidays to you too.
Thank you.
Right.
And with that, I want to thank each one of our listeners today for listening to this absolutely amazing show with our incredible diva, Kathleen Carroll Mason. Please share this show with your family and friends. Check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember some of the golden nuggets that she left. Get out of your head and into your heart. And Kathleen is one that can help you do that. And live in that present moment. Just be in the moment and start looking inward, because that's where you will find the answers inward inside of you. And remember her treadmill of life: stress, being tired, and emotions. So, oh my, so many golden nuggets, but those are just a few. And with that, I want to wish each one a very magical day. Remember, be kind to all. And one more item I would like to share with our listeners is Candace Gish, the founder of Divas That Care, has a wonderful book called Podcast Journal, where you can keep track of all the amazing podcasts that you listen to, where you listen to them, what they are about. It will all be in one journal where you can go and find all the information from the podcasts that you have listened to. So what an incredible gift to give yourself and others. And you may find that on Amazon and also on Absolute Love Publishing. And that is Podcast Journal by Candace Gish. And with that, remember, give your animals a great big hug and share all your love with them as they so deserve it. Until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.